You didn't leave because you stopped caring. You left because you started to. There's a coffee shop you go to alone, small place, wooden tables, warm light. You like it because nobody needs anything from you there. You can sit for an hour, leave, and nobody notices you were gone. You were there one afternoon when someone sat near the window. He wasn't doing much, just watching the street, completely relaxed, no urgency, like someone with nowhere else he needed to be. You noticed that first, not his face, just that. The way he was just there, you had forgotten what that looked like in a person. And then there were dinners, walks, his kitchen, messy and comfortable, a plant on the windowsill that needed watering. Being with him felt easy, like you could just be yourself without having to manage how you came across. And then underneath all of that, almost before the good feeling had even settled, something else started quiet, automatic accounting, and underneath the counting, a question you didn't let yourself look at directly. Most people would call this fear of commitment. That is the wrong name. The wrong name means the wrong life. There is a pattern that runs in certain people. People who are actually very good at being alone. Not cold people. Not people who don't care. Something more specific than that. They let someone get genuinely close, and then they find a reason to leave. Too much. Too fast. Something not quite right. And they go, before the other person can. Here is what this is not. It is not that they don't care. People who do this usually care more than most. And that is exactly the problem the moment someone actually starts to matter. Really matter. The kind where you notice yourself thinking about them for no reason. Where their name on your phone makes you feel something. Something else shows up with that feeling a need. And needing someone is scary. Because if you need someone, they can hurt you just by leaving. And if they leave after you have already let them in that far, you don't just lose them, you get an answer to a question you have been quietly avoiding your whole adult life. So here's what is actually going on. It is not fear of closeness. It is not fear of commitment. It is fear of one specific thing, letting someone see all of you and having them decide to go anyway. So you make sure that never happens. You leave first. You call it bad timing, wrong match. It just wasn't working. All of which might be true, none of which is the real reason you left. This didn't start with a romantic relationship. It started much earlier, in a room you haven't thought about in a long time. Someone who was completely there, and then wasn't. It doesn't have to be a big event. It just has to happen once. When you are young enough, needing someone and feeling them pull away. For something to shift in you, not a lesson. Just something that settles in, before you have words for it. That needing someone gives them power over you, the power to hurt you just by not being there, so you adjusted. You made sure you were never the one who needed more. You became easy to keep around. You learned when to make yourself smaller, when to need less, when to disappear a little so things stayed okay. And here's the thing, nobody says about that. It worked. People stayed. Or you protected yourself from the ones who didn't. The strategy made complete sense given what you had been through. It was not a mistake. It was a solution. It stopped feeling like protection. It just felt like you. And the problem is not that you found the solution. The problem is that you are still using it in rooms that are not that room, with people who are not that person, in a life that has moved on completely from where it started. Every time someone gets close enough that you can feel what it would mean to actually need them, the same thing kicks in, not as a thought, just as a movement, already heading for the exit. Before you have even decided you want to go, you carried the solution forward, long after the original problem was gone, and that version of you is still running, right now, in your actual life, in the people you are currently keeping at a slight distance without quite deciding to. You see it in the small moments first. Someone remembers something you mentioned weeks ago, or reaches across a table, or looks at you in a way that isn't asking for anything, just warm, just there for you. And for a second it feels good. And then, almost immediately, the part of you that is already looking for the exit wakes up. You see it in your relationships. You let someone in. You find the thing. There is always a thing. The incompatibility, the timing, something not quite right. And it is always real enough to use, but you find it faster than the situation actually calls for. And you leave in a way that is too clean, a reason stated clearly, a door closed quietly. People say you handle endings well. You do. It is the most expensive thing about you. You see it in your friendships too. You are the one people come to, the listener, the reliable one, always okay. People need you, but you are never the one who needs them back. You are close to people, but the closeness only goes one way, and this is the part that is hardest to see when you are inside it. You have gotten so good at leaving that most people have never even seen you want to stay. The whole thing runs on its own now. You feel yourself being drawn to someone and pulling back from them almost at the same moment, and you have done the pulling back so many times that nobody ever gets to see the being drawn. And part here is the question underneath all of this. Not whether you are a good person, not whether you deserve to be loved. You know those answers. Something more uncomfortable than that, if someone actually saw all of you, the version that gets scared, the version that needs reassurance sometimes, the version that is not always fine, would they stay? You have never let that question get an answer, because no answer at all feels safer than finding out the answer is no, knowing this will not fix it tomorrow. The pattern will run again, someone will get close, the counting will start. You will find the reason, and you will leave tidily with a reason that is real enough. Understanding why you do something and actually stopping it are not the same thing, but it is not nothing either. Because at least now when the counting starts, you will recognize it. You will know what it actually is, and that is different from being completely run by something you cannot see. But here's the thing, the unanswered question is not keeping you safe. It is running in every relationship you have right now. It is the thing behind the counting. It is what makes you choose the exit before you have even decided you want one. You are already paying the cost of not knowing the answer. You are just paying in a way that does not look like loss from the outside. The smallest possible change is this. Not some big moment of vulnerability. Not a system, just one person, one moment. One thing that is actually true about how you are feeling that you would normally keep to yourself. Let them see it, not to test them, just to find out what actually happens, because you have never done that. Let someone see the real version and stayed around long enough to find out what they did with it. That one thing you have never tried, you might find out. It was never going to go the way you were afraid it would. You have spent years making sure nobody could leave you by always leaving first. You still don't know if anyone would stay for just you.